Hey guys, so I just got back from a pre-screening of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Um, I gotta be at work at 7 in the morning, and it's 11:30 right now, so I want to get this review done with as quickly as soon as possible. So let's get right into it. I was looking forward to this movie going into it. I was a fan of the Amazing Spider-Man reboot. It wasn't a flawless film, but I definitely was intrigued as to where the film was series was going, or this cast. I thought the cast of the reboot was in a lot of ways better than the cast of the original series, especially with the fact that, in my opinion, Andrew Garfield is a way fucking better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire ever was. And I just got around to finally watching Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 again this past weekend, and watching those back again, you go, yeah, Tobey Maguire is a good. I will say this: Tobey Maguire is a good Peter Parker because he can play the nerdy person very well, but he's not very fucking convincing as an action hero, honestly. And Andrew Garfield, I think, pulls off both very well, and he's I enjoy Andrew Garfield and everything I've seen him in so far, and he's really good in this series. And also, like I said, the rest of the cast of the reboot was really good. Um, the only problem I have with the reboot was the fact that it just basically told the same old origin story of Spider-Man that we've already seen a million fucking times. There's no need to tell the origin story ever again of Spider-Man. We all know it, and it really, I mean, it did a couple things differently, like talk about his parents, which never have been addressed in other films. But and I like that. But other than that, it was just the same cookie cutter origin story of Spider-Man that we've already all seen, and like like Batman and like Superman, Spider-Man doesn't need an origin story ever again. So, going into this movie, I was looking forward to it, even despite that fact, because I was interested in where the series could go from here with this kind of cast. I was also worried going in that the last time I went to a pre-screening of a Spider-Man movie was Spider-Man 3, and yeah, that movie fucking sucked. So I was worried about that, and also worried considering that the reviews for this movie it right now stands at about the same level that Spider-Man 3 stands on on Rotten Tomatoes, and that kind of worried me because Spider-Man 3 isn't very good, like I said. Um, I'm one of those people that don't really like Spider-Man 3. I know I'm not the only one. Um, so yeah, I was kind of a little bit worried, and you know what? I don't know why this movie. I mean, I could see maybe some reasons why this movie uh, stands at like 50 or something, but this movie's way better than fucking Spider-Man 3. It doesn't need not is 10 times better than Spider-Man 3. Uh, this movie is really it's a pretty damn good Spider-Man movie. Well, not flawless at all. It has some major flaws, and I'll get into that in a little bit. It is still a pretty damn good Spider-Man movie, and honestly, at the end of the day, just like the first one, it made me intrigued as to seeing more Spider-Man movies. I wanted to see where this film series goes from here after this movie, honestly, and that's what the first movie did, and this movie did the exact same thing that the first movie did, and that's pretty cool. I again enjoyed the cast of this movie. Andrew Garfield is very good in this film, as usual, as Spider Man. Um, Emma Stone is Gwen Stacy, and I wholeheartedly believe that she is, in my opinion, the best, one of the best, if not the best, female character I've seen put in a comic book film ever. Some people might disagree with me on that, but honestly, uh, after spending the whole original franchise following Mary Jane Watson, who I swear to God, half her dialogue was just her screaming. Seriously, go back and watch those movies. She spends that whole series fucking screaming and also being captured and being saved by Spider-Man. That was her whole purpose. Gwen Stacy is more than that. She actually fucking helps Spider-Man, especially towards the end. And she's actually a really useful character and doesn't. Only towards the end does she actually ever get captured. That's the only time. And really, she was the same way in the first one, and I really enjoyed that. She was a character you could root for. And I also liked the chemistry between her and Andrew Garfield. I thought him and Emma Stone were really cute together. They really, I thought they were a little bit better. Their chemistry was a little bit better than the first one. I thought it was a little too awkward in the first one, but you could feel the chemistry in this one a lot better. They really work well off one another. I thought, now as far as like the new cast in this movie, I thought the standout was fucking Dane DeHaan. I know I'm maybe not saying his name right. I apologize if I ain't. But that guy is a fucking great actor. This guy is the guy you will be seeing for a while now. We'll be seeing more and more as the years go by. This kid is really good. Every time I see him in a movie, ever since I saw him in Chronicle, I've been impressed by him. And he, in my opinion, I love James Franco, and I know I might get some shit for this, but in my opinion, he is a better Harry Osborn than James Franco was. And I liked James Franco in the first series. I thought he did a good job, but I think Dane DeHaan does a lot better job than James Franco. He's more sinister and menacing than James Franco ever was in that original series. He is really good. I really want to see more of him being the Green Goblin, which we do get that hint that he's going to be. We pretty much get it established that he will be in more films and won't just be in this one, which I was happy about. I was worried when they do introduce him. He does turn into the Green Goblin like in the last 20 minutes, and I was worried that with him being introduced as the Green Goblin in the last 20 minutes that we would have the same problem that they had with Venom, and the fact that they would take one of the most iconic villains and then kill him off in the last 20, or like in the last, by the end of the movie like they did with Venom. But they don't, thank God, and he'll be returning, thankfully, and it looks like he'll be like the leader of the Sinister Six, which makes me happy. Really can't wait. That makes me definitely excited about that film. I thought the action sequences in this movie were good too. Only one action sequence that I can pinpoint that I didn't like was the opening one where the plane sequence, or the plane crash sequence with Peter's parents. It was a little too shaky cam for me, and it kind of drove me nuts. But overall, I thought the rest of the action sequences were fine. I liked that sequence where Electro and Spider-Man were fighting in Times Square, and they were fighting, and there's a part where Peter has to think about how to save these civilians. They're like on the stand from the electricity that Electro is about to flow through the metal stuff in Times Square. If you've seen the movie, you'll get it, but you'll know what I'm talking about. It's pretty cool. I like that. I thought that's a pretty cool sequence. Like I said, I liked the last couple action sequences with him and Electro in the power plant. I also liked the short battle scene between him and the Green Goblin at the end. I thought they were really well done. But I guess it's time for me to talk about what I didn't like. And my main problem with this movie is that, by Jesus God, did they stuff way too much in this film. I know I'm not the only one that's been complaining about this, because I've heard a lot of critics complain about it. They stuff way too fucking much. And the point that it kind of did remind me of Spider-Man 3. That's why I was kind of worried about, that this movie would be Spider-Man 3 all over again, because it had so many fucking villains. Um, it it does this movie. I think this movie does it a lot better than fucking Spider-Man 3, but it also has some of the same problems. And the fact that one, really, as much as I love Jamie Foxx in this movie, I thought Jamie Foxx was great in this movie. I want to say that right off the bat. Electro, there was no point to him whatsoever. He did not. If you cut him out of this movie, it would have been fine. Absolutely fucking fine. The end of his story arc at the end of this film doesn't leave any impact whatsoever on the rest of it, like the whole end of the movie. Like, he's kind of forgotten about. Really, his character is a really forgettable villain, honestly. As much as Jamie Foxx is good in this movie, and he is, his whole character is fucking forgettable, and honestly won't even be remembered, in my opinion. He was just there. I don't know why the fuck Electro was even in this movie. Really, I don't. Even though he is really the main villain, I thought let me point this out. I guess I should tell you, like, all the storylines that are going on in this movie, just to give you a fucking idea how much stuff is going on in this movie. You have the stuff with Peter and Gwen. You have the Harry Osborn storyline and Harry Osborn's relationship with Peter being established somewhat. You have Harry and his dad, and his relationship with his dad, which is established for like 2 minutes. Thanks, Chris Cooper, for making a cameo in this movie. He literally is in this movie as Norman Osborn. He's only in one scene because he dies. Literally, he fucking dies. That'd be the easiest fucking check in his whole fucking career. And the fact he's only in this movie for 2 minutes just to basically be Norman Osborn and die. I've heard the idea of, like, that maybe he faked his death. I'm pretty sure he's fucking dead. I'm pretty goddamn certain. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being like the shadowy figure that you saw at the end of the credits from the first one, which pops up again in this one. But I don't think that's him. I don't know. I almost thought that was what was going to happen. Yeah, but, like, yeah, you got that going on. You got Harry Osborn find out he's about to die, and he goes crazy enough that he ends up becoming a Green Goblin. You got that going on. You got the Elektra storyline going on at the same time. You got Peter in the midway for the movie trying to find out more information about his parents, which is honestly fucking forgotten about until like halfway through the movie, even though that was a very prevalent thing in the first one. You got all these fucking storylines, and then you got also Gwen possibly going to Oxford, and Peter not being happy about it, and then you got all, like I said, you got so much shit going on in this movie that it felt like they jam-packed like 5 different movies, Spider-Man movies, into one film. Like, I felt, this is the way I felt where it should have gone. It should have focused solely on the Dane DeHaan storyline, since specifically they're kind of focusing, he's going to be a leader of Sinister Six, and they're going to have the Sinister Six in this film. I felt his storyline was really the main storyline in this film, and Electro's storyline was just basically a distraction from the main storyline of this film. Because, honestly, the first film, established that Peter Parker was still trying to find out more about the stuff that his dad was doing at Oscorp. And really, Dane DeHaan's storyline is a continuation of that storyline, into Harry Osborn and all that stuff like that. And like I said, really, there's no fucking point to him. If you would have cut him out of there, it would have been fine. It would have been fine. And you just focused on Harry Osborn and all that stuff. The movie would have been okay. It would have been good. It would have probably been better than it was. If you haven't noticed, I didn't talk about Paul Giamatti. Let's talk about Paul Giamatti for a second. You know how I said Chris Cooper had got an easy fucking paycheck? Fucking Paul Giamatti did too. He's only in this movie for 5 fucking minutes. No joke. He's at the beginning of this movie as a Russian mobster that Spider-Man stops from stealing a truck full of plutonium owned by Oscorp. And then he disappears throughout the whole movie. He's not mentioned again. He disappears. And then at the very end of the movie, the very fucking end of the movie, that scene where you see Spider-Man fighting Rhino, that you've seen prevalent throughout the trailers, that's how the movie ends. You don't even see the fight between the two of them. It just... The movie ends with Spider-Man swinging a... what the fuck is that thing? A sewer cover. You know, the sewer cover. He's swinging a sewer cover at Rhino, and then the movie cuts to black. What the fuck was the point of Paul Giamatti being in this movie? Only reason I'm not mad about it as much as I should be is that it kind of points at he's going to be in the Sinister Six, which I hope is true, because that would be great. I fucking love Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti is one of the most underrated actors, and how the fuck that guy never got an Oscar yet? Maybe he'll be part of Spider-Man 3. I walking out of the movie, I talked to somebody in the crowd. They were like, I want to see more of Spider-Man versus Rhino. I was like, I know, that would have been kind of cool. Also, Paul Giamatti in his Russian accent was pretty comical. I mean, I can get behind him being a Russian, but that Russian accent was pretty comical. It's about as goofy as Mickey Rourke's in Iron Man 2. Yeah. I just... They threw way too much into this movie. Way fucking too much. And it felt like this could have been split into 2 films and this movie would have been better. I really think that. And Jamie Foxx is really... I feel like, as much as he's good in this movie, he's just pointless. Like I said. Well... Before I get off of here, I guess I should also talk about what I thought about what concerns to the big death that happens at the end of this movie. I was spoiled it. I got this in the death that happens at the end of this movie. There is a big death. It was spoiled for me a week ago, so I knew going in who was going to die. Thanks, Internet. And I won't spoil it for people. I'll try. I don't want to spoil it. Even a movie I hate, I try to not spoil it. And this is a movie I liked, so I don't want to spoil it. But I thought it was done well. And you knew it was coming. Because the character's story arc, how this character's story arc was going throughout the film, you just knew it was going to happen. Even if I didn't know going in that this person was going to die, I could have guessed it easily, because I've seen enough of these fucking movies. And it's very sad. And I will just say this for any comic book fans. It's the death that we all know is going to happen. I'm not a big Spider-Man fan, but I knew about this death, and it's the death that you all know it's going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen eventually, but because if you've read the comics, you know who the fuck I'm talking about. And it's sad. I felt like it did rush it at the end of the movie. It felt a little bit rushed. The end of the movie, as it kind of spans over, like the end of the movie spans over apparently 5 months, which is weird. Um, and it I think I'm interested. I'm hoping that Peter is still feeling the effects of this death in the third one. I'm hoping, and I'm glad. By the way, a couple things I want to also mention. Really, anybody else notice that Jamie Foxx's basically his origin is basically the same fucking origin story that we've seen in almost everything. It also reminded me, it kind of reminded me of him being the male version of fucking Catwoman, honestly. Like, he was the nerdy guy that nobody ever noticed, and once he got all these powers, he, went rich with powers, and it's a storyline that we've seen in a million comic book movies, and it kind of almost reminded me of, like, Catwoman for some reason. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that. Also, the deaths, there's some fucking violent deaths in this movie. Particularly what happens when they show the aftermath of Jamie Foxx's accident that causes him to be Electro. Like, Jesus Christ, movie! Like, goddamn, for a fucking PG-13 movie, this has some pretty violent deaths in it. Particularly the big death that happens at the end is kind of violent. If you sit there and think about it, it's kind of gruesome to think about. What else? I forgot. I forget something else here. Oh, I'm glad I didn't see Mary. I'm glad that Mary Jane Watson wasn't in this movie either. I know Shailene Woodley was supposed to be in this as Mary Jane Watson. I didn't have a problem with her in this, but this movie was already overcrowded enough that they didn't need her in this. I'm glad they didn't introduce her. Apparently, they're maybe going to introduce her in the third one, and I'm fine with that. I can see them doing that. I'm surprised if she would have had a role in this movie. I think it would have been at the end. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get her in the third one, because they also introduced in this movie Felicity Hardy, who, if you don't know, plays Black Cat. She's Dane DeHaan or Harry Osborn's assistant, which is weird. I went, oh geez, Felicity Hardy. I heard a rumor that she was gonna be in this movie, and yeah, she pops up in this movie as Harry Osborn's assistant. But yeah, you could also maybe have Black Cat in the next one, and not Mary Jane Watson. There you go. Which would be fine. If we don't have another Mary Jane Watson, I'd be fine with that. But yeah, I recommend this movie. It is pretty good. It does have faults. It does feel like it jam-packs way too much into one film. But it did, at the end of the day, make me interested in where they were going from here with Spider-Man 3 and the Sinister Six. And fortunately, we didn't get like a Venom tease that I was hoping we would. Apparently, we won't get any. Venom won't pop up in any of these movies until his standalone movie happens. I'm hoping they do fucking Venom justice. I'm really hoping. At the end of the day, I really hope they do Venom justice. After they fucked him up in Spider-Man 3. What we did, by the way, don't stay at the end of the credits. If you want to stay at the end of the credits, I'll tell you what's at the end of the credits, or middle of the credits. It's a preview for X-Men Days of Future Past. Why? I don't know. And I know it's probably get people hopeful that maybe they'll do a crossover with Spider-Man and X-Men. That's not gonna fucking happen. If they're not gonna have Spider-Man and X-Men part of fucking Avengers, I don't want to. I'll be pissed if they do X-Men and Spider-Man, because they're missing out on the opportunity to have them being part of the Avengers. Fucking ridiculous. That's another rant for another day. Yeah, but and everybody stayed at the end of the credits to see if we got something else. No, It was just a preview X-Men. That was it. And you're like, oh, fuck off. Like, I kind of laughed though, like, oh, what the hell. Um, that was pointless. But yeah, go see the movie. I got a lot of new previews. A lot of new previews for movies I've already gotten previews for, like Edge of Tomorrow, which I like that new trailer. I like it. It's gonna be Groundhog Day, but an alien invasion movie slash Groundhog Day. It's gonna be kind of cool. Or good way to put it. Also, Source Code. That was a good movie too. I had the new trailer for Annie. Jamie Foxx looks like he might be having fun with that movie. Like, I got before I get into the one I don't want to talk about. I did get the new trailer for the new X-Men, and that looks really good, like solid, really, really fucking good. I did get the fucking. I got the new trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm a huge fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What the fuck is up with the look of the turtles? They look fucking retarded. And anybody's excited about this movie, again, think about this for a second. Being produced by Michael Bay and being directed by the guy who made Battle of L.A. Yeah. No. 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 And Megan Fox is playing fucking April O'Neil. God, that movie was dumb. I don't. It does have William Fichtner playing Shredder. That makes me happy. It makes me smile. But other than that, I don't fucking care. I will see it. I will go see it just because I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. But I'm going in with very low expectations. Very low. But yeah, alright. I've been rambling on long enough. I'll be back next week with Neighbors, which I'm hearing really good things about. This movie's getting like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Jesus Christ. So I'll be back next week with that.